Hey guys, my name is Amanda and welcome to my channel. I am so happy to have you here today. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 25 easy fall DIYs that do not require power tools and are beginner friendly. I truly hope that you enjoy them. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. There's also a bell button right next to that where you can choose an option to be notified every single time that I upload. And as always, giving me a big thumbs up really helps me out here on YouTube. Okay, let's jump into it. This first DIY I'm going to share with you today, I'm actually going to share it with two different bows. I couldn't decide what I liked better, so you'll have to let me know if you like the funky kind of retro style or the more classy. So I grabbed this sign from Dollar Tree. It's an initial sign. They had several different ones. M is my last name initial, so it was perfect. I removed all of the embellishments, and then I sanded over the paper as it was kind of a shiny, smooth surface. Sanding it makes it take paint better. I painted it with Waverly Plaster Chalk Paint, flipped it over, took this fabric from Dollar Tree, and hot glued a piece of fabric to the back. That way when I flip it over, the fabric will be visible through my initial cutouts. So here is what that looks like. And now we can go ahead and start embellishing. First, I wanted to give it a little bit more color. I thought that plaster color was a little stark, but if you like that, go ahead and leave it that way or paint it any color you like. I went in and dry brushed it with Waverly Pumpkin Chalk Paint and also a little brown chalk paint that I got from the Crafter's Square, and I really like these two colors together with the plaster and with the fabrics. I attached the top of the jar back and I created a bow. Well, this is my first bow. I thought that it was pretty. It had the same colors as the fabric, and I thought it kind of gave a fun kind of retro look. So I just looped it over with two loops on either side, gave it some tails, glued it to the top side of my jar, and dovetailed by folding my tails over and cutting a triangle upward. This gives you a boutique finish and I think is really pretty. I am then going to add a couple of leaves on either side. These are just some random different colored leaves that I got off some Dollar Tree picks, but again, you could add anything you like depending on what colors you used. You could even use some greenery or some different colored leaves, some florals. The sky is really the limit on how to decorate this. So once I have those all in place, for this particular bow, I decided to put a pretty flower in the middle. This flower is also from Dollar Tree, and they have several different colors of the same type. And here is what it looks like initially, because it's the initial sign. Get it? Yeah, I have a weird sense of humor, guys. Please forgive me. Okay, anyway, so here's what it looks like. And then I decided to change out the bow for another Dollar Tree ribbon that I think is so pretty. I love this orange, and it goes really well with the fabric in the middle. It makes it classy looking, I think. So let me know below which was your favorite bow. And on to our next Dollar Tree DIY. This one was super fun to make, and I love how it looks. It's also very customizable. So you're going to want to grab a sign from Dollar Tree. This just so happened to have my initial on it as well, but I also grabbed this beautiful pumpkin doily. I believe it came from Dollar General for $1. I'm going to paint my pumpkin sign with Waverly Plaster, and then I'm going to take some Mod Podge and apply a generous amount. I'm carefully going to place this pumpkin doily on top, smoothing it down with my hands, and then I'm going to take a dauber brush, sponge brush, whatever you call that, with the Mod Podge on it, and I am just going to kind of stamp the Mod Podge on and allow that to dry until it adheres nicely. This pumpkin sign with the two pumpkins is from Dollar Tree, and I thought it was really adorable on the front there. Now I put it to the side, which is going to make my sign a little bit off balance when I stand it, but you can fix that and I will tell you how. Now to decorate this, I have some beautiful flowers and leaves all from Dollar Tree. So what I want to do is kind of create a cascading look down the opposite side where I have the pumpkins. So I'm just taking all the leaves apart and just kind of gluing them down in a cascading fashion. And once I get them placed how I want them, I'm just going to glue these beautiful Dollar Tree flowers right on top. I'm not even going to guess what kind of flower it is because I am terrible with flower names, but Dollar Tree is killing it with the florals. They have beautiful beautiful choices. So here is what that looks like. I'm going to add in some berries that I got off Dollar Tree picks as well. This little sign is from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the embellishments and I'm going to glue it to the back of my sign to make it stand. Now, if you are off balance like mine was, you can add a couple of Jenga blocks to the back of your stand on the opposite side of the little pumpkins, and it will help it stand better. This is what this looks like. I think it is absolutely beautiful, very customizable, easy to make, and I think it makes a nice statement piece. Okay, let's move on to our next one. Beautiful but easy wreath. I think this wreath looks so designer and it was so inexpensive to make. I grabbed a sign that I liked from Dollar Tree in their largest wreath form, as well as some ribbon I had in my stash that I can wrap around the wreath form. I am then going to glue the sign onto the side. Now, I got this greenery from Hobby Lobby because if you were to use this much greenery from Dollar Tree, it would honestly be more expensive than just buying this garland from Hobby Lobby. I used about half of it and it was about half price. I can't remember the exact amount, but it really wasn't that much. Not about $10, I believe, but I only used half of the garland. So let's say I spent $5 on this greenery part that I am using. You couldn't get this much greenery from Dollar Tree for that amount. I am tying the greenery on with twine because that's all I had, but zip ties would be better. Here's what it looks like when it is all on. Now I'm going to glue on my larger pieces, which are my Dollar Tree pumpkins. I am just going to move the greenery aside so I can make sure that I glue this to the ribbon. I am going to get the colors in a place that I like them and just glue all three of them. I like to do things in odd numbers. Then I have this beautiful Dollar Tree sunflower in my stash that has a clip on it, as well as some other sunflower florals that I had in my stash. I just glued them on here and there where I liked them. I also had these berries from Dollar Tree in my stash. They come in a fairly large bunch and are so pretty. So here I go with the Dollar Tree ribbon again. I just love this color of ribbon. I am creating a bow by folding it over until I have 3 loops on either side like so. I'm sorry I let a frame there for a second. I do that with another Dollar Tree ribbon, stack them on top of each other, and I am going to tie them tightly with twine. It doesn't matter if you use twine or a zip tie or a pipe cleaner, as long as you get it nice and tight, because the tighter that you tie your bow, the more you can fluff it out, and the more you fluff it out, the better it looks. So I like to fluff my bow a little bit and then attach it to my project and arrange it a little bit more once it is in place. So that is what I am doing here. But here's what this gorgeous wreath looks like. I think it is so pretty, so vibrant. I know the colors don't exactly match the sign, but I think that I did pretty well with it, and I just used things that I had in my stash. So definitely dig through your floral bin. You never know what sign you may be able to match things up with. And again, so inexpensive, so beautiful, and I hope that you like this wreath idea. Moving into this next Dollar Tree DIY. Is easy. It is a wood DIY that is very inexpensive. We are going to take 3 Dollar Tree crates that do not have the holes between the slats. We are going to take 2 pumpkin pieces that do have slats. First, we glue our crates together. I am just using hot glue for video purposes, but you could use super glue or E6000, whatever you prefer. You just want these 3 crates attached like so. Then you're simply just going to glue a pumpkin on either side, making sure that the bottom is flush so that it will sit nicely. So here's what that looks like, nice and easy. And then I'm just going to spray paint the entire thing with this crayon spray paint, but use any color you like. Then I'm just going to take some more of that brown paint that is from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to brush it over to dull down this bright orange, which was the only orange that I had in my stash, and I think it gives it a really pretty look. But of course you could skip this step if you wanted to, or even use white if you wanted to for dry brushing. I added a little bow on the stem. This is from Dollar Tree ribbon. Then I added some floral foam into each crate, and I placed some some florals in there. These picks are very inexpensive from Walmart, and I'm also using some beautiful maple leaves from Dollar Tree, but you can fill this with whatever you like. Pumpkins, florals, leaves. I just think that it is so pretty for a reversible centerpiece. It only costs us about $6 to make, and then again, fill it with whatever you like. So customizable. Of course, the color is customizable too. I just really like this DIY, and I hope that you like it as well. So as we approach the end of the fall crafting season, I just wanted to put together another compilation to share with you my favorite DIYs that I have made this season. They are all super easy, none of them require power tools, and most of them are using Dollar Tree items. These are perfect for beginners and also for last minute projects. So once again, if you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Okay, let's jump right into the next project. It's going to be a standing pumpkin floral. Honestly, this is probably my favorite piece in this video. I just love it, and it was so easy to create. So this is a pumpkin from Dollar Tree. It is $3 from the plus section. It is a little bit larger than the traditional foam pumpkin from Dollar Tree. I have some floral picks. Another pumpkin that I was going to attach to the top of this pumpkin and use as floral foam, but I decided that was not necessary, although that's an option if you really want a large floral piece at the top. But I decided to go ahead and stick these picks right down in the top of that pumpkin after removing the stem. I then kind of moved them around a little bit. These are very bendable and movable, so you can kind of manipulate them into the place that you want them. And I did remove the berries so I could kind of put them in at different angles. Then I have some of these tiny little florals from Dollar Tree. I cut them down and I am adding them in and just fluffing and arranging them in a way that I think looks pretty. You'll have to excuse me, I don't always say the name of florals because I don't want to get it wrong, but here is some more leaves from Dollar Tree picks. At this point, I'm just kind of using what I have in my stash, and I did have these blueberries in my stash. They are from Dollar Tree, and I just thought that they would be gorgeous and kind of bring out the blue and the green, so I added those in. And then I have these blue and green sweater pumpkins from Dollar Tree that I cut down. I also ended up adding a cream one, as I really do like to add things in odd numbers, so I just kind of put the blue one in the middle, and then I have the cream and green one on either side that I push down in there. And it is so easy to push things into this pumpkin, and I just think that this looks so pretty. I did happen to find these tiny little berries in my stash, so I cut them down and added them, and I thought that was perfect. And then I had this Dollar Tree candlestick that I had painted with truffle chalk paint and distressed with Waverly plaster for another project. I was going to repaint it, but I thought, you know what, this is perfect. I then added 4 pieces of the Dollar Tree foam tape. It comes in a square shape, and it is just absolutely perfect to attach this pumpkin to my candlestick, and I can remove it anytime that I like. But here's what this looks like. Absolutely customizable to any color and florals that you like. You could use an orange pumpkin and different colored smaller pumpkins at the top. So here's the idea. I really hope that you like it, and keep in mind it is super customizable. Okay, let's make an inexpensive barrel tray using Dollar Tree items. This is what it looks like. I think it is so gorgeous. It looks like an old apple barrel or something like that, and it will add some height to our decor. So we're going to start with these 2 barrel planters from Dollar Tree for $1.25. And originally I had tried to put some like popsicle sticks, tongue depressor sticks on the inside of one and then fit the other one on top of it. I had trouble doing that, honestly, so I just broke those popsicle sticks off, and I just decided to glue these together the old-fashioned way by adding glue to one and placing the other on top of it. Of course, if you want to try with the popsicle sticks, that is up to you, but this worked just fine for me. I just wiped off any excess glue with my finger, but of course you should use a finger protector if your fingers are sensitive. And then I took a wood round from Dollar Tree, painted it black and just placed it on top. And this is what it looks like. If you want to glue it down, you totally could, but I just sat mine on there and I think it looks gorgeous and I love how it elevates my decor. Next, we have a potpourri wreath, and I love how this came out quick and easy. Again, I am probably not the first creator to do this. I'm not quite sure who to give credit to, but I love this idea and I think it is really pretty. So I got this wreath form and this potpourri, however you say that, from Dollar Tree. This is an apple smelling one, but they do have several different colors. I'm just going to spray my wreath form with a brown paint that I had on hand, brown spray paint, and I'm only doing this in case any of the potpourri has gaps between it, then you don't see that green color. But you could hand paint this if you wanted to too, just to get a neutral colored base. And then this is so simple, just glue your pieces on. Now I used 2 bags only because I wanted more larger pieces, but if you don't mind using a ton of teeny tiny small pieces, you could totally do this with 1 bag. And I'm going to show you what I did with my excess, as I did have a lot left over, but you're literally just gluing this around. So I did a bunch of larger pieces around, and then I came in with some smaller pieces. I did glue some toward the inside and some toward the outside, so that when you are hanging this up, if you look at this from different angles, all you see is that potpourri, and this smells so nice. It looks so pretty. I think it is perfect for fall, but I think it could even fold over into Christmas. So just using this hot glue and gluing around. So a little tip for you, if you have a lot of hot glue strings when you are done, you could simply take your heat gun and pass over those areas and that will melt the glue strings. So here is what my wreath looks like. I think it is so pretty. I think the colors look absolutely gorgeous with all of these oranges for fall. Let me know what you think. Now let me show you what I did with a leftover of that potpourri. I just made a little decorative air freshener bag. So I'm going to be using some fabric from Dollar Tree, some burlap fabric. I like this because it had holes in it and I thought it would let the smell come through better, but you could use any fabric that you like. I just cut a strip of it and it was already kind of folded like this, so I thought that was okay. I would just fold it over in the back to create a seam. So here I am adding some glue, and then I'm just pulling it a little bit tighter so it overlaps like so. Now please don't be like me. Use some finger protectors to protect your fingers. So here's what I have, kind of this tube shape, and now I am going to flip it inside out so I can create a seam for the bottom without it looking funny. So once I get it folded inside out, I am then going to kind of trim it up a little bit, make it a little bit straighter, and then I'm just going to use some hot glue along that one end. Once that is done, I will press it together firmly, and once it is dry, I will flip it right side out. You want to wait until it is dry, otherwise you'll have a nasty gluey mess on your hands, literally probably on your hands, and we don't want that. So once it is dry, you flip it back inside out or outside in, and then you have a adorable little bag, and you can go ahead and scoop your potpourri in there, and it's just, I think, a great idea. I love this. So here we are, just scooping it in, and once you get the amount that you like, then you just want to close it up. So I'm going to use some hot glue to close it up, and then again I'm just going to trim off the excess. So you could make your bag as large or as small as you want. You could make your bag kind of short and stubby like mine, or you could make it tall and skinny. Really, the sky is the limit. Use your creativity. Use any shape of bag that you like. I just decorated it with some Dollar Tree rope by taking a strip of rope and tying a knot in either end. You can do your rope hanger as long or as short as you want it. You do not have to tie these little knots. I just think that it looks decorative and pretty. So once that is done, you're going to want to glue them down and trim them up the way that you think they look nice. So I trim them up. I am going to use hot glue to glue them down to the front of my bag, just a generous amount, pressing it and holding it until it is completely dry. Once that is done, you can embellish this further any way that you like. I'm going to be using some Dollar Tree ribbon to do this, but you could use a bigger bow. You could use some leaves, florals, whatever you think, even a thicker ribbon. This is just a Dollar Tree burlap trim that I thought was pretty. So I glued it on one end, flipped it over, and glued it on the other. I did tack it down a little bit in the middle too, just to make sure that it was going to stay in place. I made a little bow out of this very same ribbon and glued it up in the side there to make it look pretty. And this is as simple as I left mine. I think it looks great and such a nice idea to reuse some of that potpourri. Next, let's move into a large Dollar Tree pumpkin with florals. So I wanted to make a larger pumpkin out of Dollar Tree foam pumpkins, and this is how I decided to do it. I took 2 foam pumpkins from Dollar Tree. I cut one in half, removed the stem. I left the stem on the middle one. I then took some white felt from Dollar Tree and some ribbon that I liked. Now I am using this masking tape to attach like so, but I would recommend using duct tape. I just didn't have any on hand, so I went around all 3 of these pieces, and then I also covered up the grooves where they attach because I didn't want big divots in my pumpkin. I am trying to make this as smooth as possible, so that is why I used all of this tape. Once that is done, I'm going to wrap my little pumpkin concoction in this Dollar Tree felt to again kind of pat it a little bit and not make such sharp divots. So I'm wrapping the sides, and once I get both sides wrapped, I'm going to cut off the remaining piece, which I'm going to use for the top. The bottom I just glue down to the shape here, and then I flip it over and I go ahead and form the top as much as possible with my hot glue, just tucking in the pieces. And then I take this excess piece and glue it right over top. Now at this point it looks a little strange, but bear with me. I think it absolutely turns out gorgeous. I then use my scissors to poke right through that felt and through the stem of the middle pumpkin. I also use my X-Acto knife to kind of carve out a little bit of a hole until you get a large enough space that all of your fabric is going to fit down in there. I then set my pumpkin on top of the Dollar Tree fabric, and I began tugging and pulling and folding, starting on one side and working my way around to the other side. This is not hard. It'll just come together for you, and you'll see where you need to pleat. If there's any places that you need a little bit of help with, you can use dabs of hot glue. I did have to use a couple dabs of hot glue in certain places to get the fabric to lay exactly how I wanted it. Then I took 3 whole cinnamon sticks that I had in my pantry and shoved them right down in the middle, and that made everything firm and stay in place. I also added a little hot glue. It was still a little bit loose, so I added another loose piece of, well, half piece of cinnamon stick to that stem to make it nice and full. I then went around my stem a few times with this jute twine, and that just added a really nice finishing touch, I feel like. I cut off the excess and tacked down that end. Then I came in with some leaves that I had in my stash from Dollar Tree. And in the beginning, I was just going to decorate one side. So I do show you what that looks like. And then I show you what I decided to do. So I put leaves on one side. I added a little twine bow, and here's what it looks like. If you're more of a simplistic decorator and you like it just like this, there's that idea. But for me, I took some of this Dollar Tree pitberry and I curled it on either side. I placed the middle between curls around my cinnamon stick and I glued it down, and then I arranged my curls how I wanted them. This just adds a beautiful touch, I feel like. So once that is done, of course, I have added leaves to the other side of this pumpkin. And I had these beautiful little florals that I wanted to add in. So I added one of these almost sunflower looking florals. That is a beautiful orangey color to either side. And then I just kind of strategically placed these other small flowers here and there where I liked them. I did kind of trim them down so they weren't sticking out too wily. But then once I am done and I get these exactly how I want them, here is my absolutely beautiful Dollar Tree pumpkin using 2 Dollar Tree foam pumpkins. And again, this is super customizable. Dollar Tree has many fabrics that you could use to customize this pumpkin, as well as florals. And for just a few dollars, we have a gorgeous, unique pumpkin. Okay, let's jump into the next DIY. For this one, I am going to be using a large wreath form that was gifted to me, made of twigs, but you can find wreath forms like this at the thrift store or in your stash, but Dollar Tree has wire wreath forms that this would work with, or even smaller twig wreath forms. They also have a straw type wreath form in the plus section. So I then took one of these $3 foam. Sorry, it's not foam, it is fabric, which is what I was trying to say. Pumpkin from the plus section, and I just used them floral twine to tightly wrap it around where the grooves of that pumpkin are and attach it in the back. So I can remove this pumpkin if I need to or want to. I then put a little hole in another velvet pumpkin from Dollar Tree for $1.25, and I stuck in a piece of floral stem, and that way I can use that to kind of pick this into this wreath. I also did this stem technique with a couple of other pumpkins from Dollar Tree. Here's another beautiful velvet one, a little orange velvet one that's a bit smaller, and a couple of sparkly orange ones from Dollar Tree as well. Then I'm going to take apart a couple of leaf picks from Dollar Tree and just kind of pick them in on either side of these pumpkins and also in between, just where I think they would look nice, and spread them out as much as possible to make this look as full as possible. Once that is done, I'm going to add in some of these florals that I had popped off the stems, this beautiful orangey color and also this creamy type color with burlap leaves. I think is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm tucking these on either side of my pumpkins, trying to kind of keep it uniform. I'm trying to go back and forth, one on either side, and just using little dabs of hot glue, but you could leave the stem on there and pick them in if you wanted to. Then I have some of this beautiful burgundy eucalyptus that I'm going back and forth and adding to either side, and then I also have some of these berries from Dollar Tree that I'm picking in on either side. I think they add the perfect touch. So I did leave the stem on these, and then I have some more little tiny florals from Dollar Tree that I'm picking in, and here is what this looks like. I think it is beautiful, and all of these pumpkins can be removed and reused. So I hope that you like this as much as I do. You can make it on a smaller scale, like I said, or even use one of the 18-inch wreaths from Dollar Tree covered in burlap and make it almost this size. So again, I hope you like this one. It's such a beautiful statement piece for a wall, indoor, or on a covered porch, or if you have a large door. Okay guys, let's jump right into this next one. I'm going to start with this So Very Thankful pumpkin hanging. I think it is absolutely gorgeous, easy to make, and you can do it with a bow or without a bow. So I just have some cord from Hobby Lobby. It's called Bonnie cord, but you could use jute twine from Dollar Tree as well. I just prefer to work with the Bonnie cord because it's a little bit softer and not so rough on my fingers. So it's kind of a texture thing, but whatever you like. This pumpkin wreath form is from Dollar Tree, but if you can't find it at your Dollar Tree for $1.25, Hobby Lobby does have one. It is a couple dollars more, but right now you can get it on sale. So there's that idea as well. So I'm not going to show you wrapping this whole thing because that's just kind of self-explanatory, but I just wrapped all around and the little spines of it. Now I have this So Very Thankful paper placemat that comes in, I think, a 30 pack from Hobby Lobby for just a couple dollars. I'm going to glue the paper placemat to the backing that all the placemats came on with my Elmer's glue stick. I am then going to place my prepared wreath form right on top of that. I'm going to add some hot glue all along the edges, flip it over and place it on top best I can. There will be tiny little gaps on the side, but that is okay. Once you get everything glued down, you can't even really notice. So now I'm just going to kind of go around adding little bits of glue here and there where I need to make sure this whole thing is secure. Once it is secure, I am then going to take a pair of sharp scissors and I'm just going to trim around the excess of that paper and backing where I don't need it. So just kind of cut that off, and that way I can get close to the wreath form and not be able to see any of that to give it a nice, clean, and finished look. Of course, this is just how I'm doing it. If you wanted to trace your pumpkin on top of this thankful paper and cut it out before gluing your pumpkin down, you could do that. But this worked for me, and here's what it looks like. So pretty. Now, decorating is totally up to you. I just got a couple of gorgeous picks that I picked up inexpensively last year. I believe these are Walmart picks, but they're around a Dollar Tree price. So I just tucked them in there and then kind of arranged them a little bit, added dabs of hot glue. I did decide to cut those leaves off, but you could totally leave them if that's what you like. Next, we're going to add in some more pine cones to fill this out, and I'm also going to add in some different leaves that I think go a little bit better with this look. These leaves are from Walmart, and they are so pretty. I used them a lot last year. I absolutely love them. They have a little bit of shimmer to them, so I'm just kind of adding them in and around the bottom and the sides, just kind of sparsely, but enough to give that color pop, and I think it is so pretty. Now, I think it is gorgeous without a bow, so I wanted to show it both ways. Here's what it looks like if you want to go bowless and just do the more simplistic, classy look, which I think is so pretty. But of course, I love bows as well, so I also wanted to show how this looks with a double bow using Dollar Tree ribbon. I think it is equally as gorgeous. So whatever suits your style and your fancy, add a bow or don't add a bow. I hope you enjoyed that DIY, and this next one is fun one for you using Dollar Tree items. This gorgeous Thankful and Blessed pizza pan wreath was so fun to make. So you began with a Dollar Tree pizza pan, and I apologize right now, there is going to be some glare in this DIY because I can't really help it with the metal, but you're also going to need one of these wreath rings from Dollar Tree and a Dollar Tree calendar. If you're lucky enough to find the 2024, you could use that, or you could use an old one like I am doing. Grab some ribbons. These are all the new collection from Dollar Tree, and I am cutting 4-inch pieces off of each ribbon roll. I wasn't sure how many I would need, so I cut 10 of each. I only ended up using 8 of each, but it really depends on how closely together you put your pieces of ribbon. So I am just going to glue one down and then form a pattern. So I did the pumpkin ribbon, made sure that that was glued down. I dovetailed the end by folding it and cutting a triangle upward, and then I am going to glue down the solid ribbon right next to it, kind of scrunching if I need to keep it straight, and I'm going to dovetail that as well, and then I will move on to the plaid. I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around my pizza pan. I do add little dabs of glue where the ribbons meet too. I wanted mine to overlap a little bit, but you could overlap yours more or less than me, so how much ribbon you'll need will really depend on how you want to do it. Then you'll choose your calendar page. You'll lay your calendar page on top and figure out where you need to cut. Now, full disclosure, I'm going to be totally honest. In the right hand corner of mine, I cut in a little bit too far. So once my wreath is done, you can see a little bit of that ribbon on the side, but I did my best and I still think it came out gorgeous. So just kind of carefully trace where you need to cut. So that I glued this down with a glue stick and smoothed it out. Now I'm going to take that wreath ring from Dollar Tree, paint it with Waverly plaster, and lay it on top. I glued it down to frame out my gorgeous calendar piece. Then I created a bow by just taking some more of those little pieces of ribbon. These are about 6 inches long though, stacking them on top of each other in a pattern, and then just kind of fluffing them out. I cinched them tightly in the middle with a piece of bonnie cord, but of course you could use zip ties, you could use a pipe cleaner, you could use twine, yarn, whatever you fancy. Just make sure it is tied tightly so you can give your bow a good fluffing. I did not dovetail the ends of my bow, but you totally could. I placed that on top of my wreath ring and arranged it so that none of the little tails there were blocking my thankful word. And here's what it looks like. If you look super closely, you can see that I did make a little mistake in the bottom right corner, cutting a little bit too far in, but I still think that it is absolutely gorgeous, and I just love how it came out. Please let me know what you think about this one down below in the comments. And moving along, this is a super quick one, and there are so many ways to do this. I have seen this done many times, but I'm going to show you the easiest way that I have found. So you grab this little wreath form from Dollar Tree. It's a tree shape, and grab a bunch of pumpkins. Now this one that I'm showing you right now, you can get at Walmart, I believe, for only $1, and all 3 of these are attached, and each one is a little bit bigger than the one before it. So this worked perfectly. So I just shoved a tiny Dollar Tree one up in there, and then I shoved the little Walmart trio, and then a couple more Dollar Tree ones. Of course, if you don't have that little Walmart trio, just use Dollar Tree ones. I'm just showing you here how I removed the stem, and then I added also this leather pumpkin is from Dollar Tree. Now this large pumpkin is $3 from Dollar Tree, and I removed the stem. I can replace it later if I want to. Now my idea for this was that I didn't want to add any glue. I didn't want to have to cut cardboard to make a bottom. So I thought if I took this big pumpkin and shoved it in the bottom, the big pumpkin would just stand on its own with a cone kind of on top of it, and then no glue is required. This is super easy, and I can take it apart and reuse my pumpkins. Of course, if you wanted to glue them in there, if you wanted to add a base, if you wanted to decorate around your base, that is totally up to you, but I just wanted to keep this super simple, and I love how it came out. I even made a couple in different patterns, as you can see. Okay, moving along, I'm going to show you how I customized this gorgeous reversible crate for just a few dollars. I think it is so cute and so perfect for your kitchen. So this crate comes from the Dollar Tree. It is $3. It's called a small wood crate, but it is a nice size. And then these 2 little pie signs were from Dollar Tree last year, but I believe they're carrying them this year as well. A little pumpkin pie and a little cherry pie, absolutely adorable. So what I'm going to do is paint my crate in tutorial beige, but of course use whatever color that you like. And I glued down on either side a piece of pie, but I'm not gluing the pie, I'm gluing the hanger on the inside, so that if I decide I don't want the pie displayed, I can just put the pie inside the crate like I just showed, and that way I'm not committing to having it outside the crate. So I did this on either side with either pie, and then I did decide it you need a little bit of something, so I added some plaster chalk paint to the sides, and then I brushed some plaster chalk paint over the sides as well. This is totally optional. If you painted your crate white, you could do this with the tutorial beige. You could reverse it, whatever you like. I just think that this looked pretty, kind of rustic it up a little bit for me. And here's what both sides look like, our pumpkin side and our cherry side. Now the pies that you see in the background, I made in another video, which I will link below. They were so fun and easy to make. Okay, the next DIY I'm going to share with you today is the super easy gather together sign using a Dollar Tree wall sticker. I just cut it apart here so I had more control over how I placed the words. Then I have a Dollar Tree sign that was part of their nautical collection. I'm just showing you that you can use the back. I did remove the raised words on the other side so that the sign didn't hang funny. And then I brushed over the back with some plaster chalk paint. I didn't do a full coverage job because I did want some of that brown to show through. And then I lightly brushed over my plaster paint with some tutorial beige. So we have a few different colors going on here, and I think it looks really pretty. Now I'm going to place down my stickers, and what I love about these is it is a clear sticker, so you can place it down and not really see the edges, especially if you use Mod Podge like I did. So I'm just figuring out exactly how I want to place these, and then carefully just placing them down after dropping it like I just did, but placing it down and then placing the other one on top of it and making sure that they are smoothed out. Like I said, I did use a coat of Mod Podge on top of these words to hold them down and seal them in. So here's what that looks like. Dollar Tree has so many different stickers that you could use for this. Now here's some Dollar Tree ribbons, which we're going to create a cute little bow for our sign. I did come back in later and add some more leaves that were on that original sticker sheet, and you'll see that here in a second. But to do our bow, I absolutely love these ribbons. Dollar Tree has been really knocking it out of the park with their ribbons. I think these are so gorgeous. So I'm just going to fold the ribbon over until I have one loop on either side and one tail, like so. When I do that to this other ribbon, then I can put them together and we will have two tails, one from each ribbon print. Now, scrunching them together, again, tie them with whatever you like. Just make sure it is nice and tight, and then you can fluff up your bow. I am then going to glue my bow at an angle to my sign the way that I like it. And apparently here I decided to go really slow to show you guys. I guess if you need a bow tutorial, here it is, because for some reason this is super slow. Also, I did dovetail the little tails of this bow by folding them over and cutting a triangle upward, but that is how you can create a super cute bow with different tails. I just thought that that was a cute idea. Now, finally gluing this down at an angle, like I said, I just used some hot glue and then carefully arrange the tails so they're not blocking off either one of those words. Here is where I decided to come back in with a few of those leaf stickers after adding a hanger. So I did take a few beads and just add it to a piece of twine, stick that back through the original holes. Then we have a hanger and we can add our leaves to this. So pro tip here, if you can't get your twine to go back through the hole, you can add a little bit of hot glue and let that harden, and that will make your twine go through the hole a lot easier. So there we go. Here is our adorable little sign, just adding in the finishing touches, which are totally optional, but I think are super cute. Sorry about that little bit of wrestling around. My dog was trying to get comfortable. She's keeping me company while I voice over. But here is what our Gather Together sign looks like with some of my fall decor. I think that this is so cozy and just gives me all the fall vibes and makes me want to put on a nice warm sweater and drink some hot apple cider. So I hope you like this sign idea. And moving on into the next one, this one is another sign, super cute. It says "Pie's the limit," and we are going to use Dollar Tree items, beginning with this Dollar Tree tea towel and this Dollar Tree frame. I had painted the base last year for a different DIY, and the frame is from the $3 section. Now I'm going to take a piece of cloth and I'm going to take the backing of my frame and I'm going to glue this towel down. So I just tack the top and the bottom, then I flipped it over. Now I did that to make sure that I keep the image straight. Now I am just going to gather up the cloth, glue it down, and trim off the excess. You can do this way differently. There's so many different ways. You could just trace around, cut out the perfect size, and glue it down. But I wanted to do this so I had a little bit more control and I could make sure that this is straight. My biggest issue with doing crafts like this is that I can never get the image straight. So this just worked really well for me. And if you're worried about the back, you can cover it up with some brown craft paper. I placed this down inside of my frame, I did add some glue to keep it firmly in the frame. I painted my frame, but you don't have to do that. I didn't like the black, so I just added some brown with some real red, mixed it together, and then painted it that color. I did decide to dry brush over it with some plaster, so this is totally customizable. You could do this with any of the gorgeous tea towels that Dollar Tree has, but I love pie, as you can tell. I just think it is so cute for fall, so this was perfect for me, and I absolutely love this idea, and I hope that you like it too. This next Dollar Tree DIY is quick and easy. You only need a few things to make it, and it's so pretty. So you'll begin by grabbing a long skinny wooden sign from Dollar Tree. I'm also going to grab a paper disposable placemat that came in a pack of a lot, about 30 I believe, from Hobby Lobby for just a couple of dollars, and you can purchase them on sale. They're amazing for crafting or to use as they are intended. So next, I'm just going to go around the edges of this wood piece with some of my Waverly Plaster chalk paint to finish my edges. And then I'm going to place my piece on top of my placemat, and I'm just going to trace around the word thankful. This is almost a perfect length, not quite, but that is okay. But I'm just going to make the width correct, and you can use any image or scrapbook paper that you like. Now I'm going to use my purple disappearant glue stick. I'm going to apply it to the wood and also to the back of this paper. I am then going to smooth the paper down onto the wood, and it looks so pretty with our finished edges. Now there will be a little space at one side, which is perfect. I'm going to add some embellishments. First, I just grab some sanding paper and just go around the edges here to make sure I have nice clean edges. And then I'm just grabbing up some of this raffia that was $1.14 at Walmart. And I am just going to loop it around the side where the paper does not reach all the way. I am then going to tie a knot and trim down the excess so I have some kind of sticking out on either side. Once that is done, we can add some more embellishments, and we can also kind of fuss with this and spread it out a little bit. Then I go ahead and glue down underneath that knot to make sure it doesn't move. And I'm going to take some beautiful gold leaves that you will see me using a little bit more here later in the video, but they come on a large pick from Walmart for about $3, and there is a lot of them. They have a little bit of sparkle to them, and they're so pretty. I'm just going to add some of these leaves in and around this raffia. I add a little bunch of 2 to the top and to the bottom. Then I'm going to take a little white pumpkin from Dollar Tree. It comes on a clip, but I remove the clip, and I'm going to glue that down, as well as some berries that I had in my stash. I also added a hanger to this with some jute twine and a couple of beads, but that is optional. You could also just prop this sign up on a vignette and it would look beautiful as well. The sign is so customizable to whatever floral choices you want to add and whatever graphic image you have. So I hope that you like this DIY. This next DIY, which I think is my favorite, is going to be inspired by Mother Time. Her name is Jen. She's so talented. I have been binge watching her videos. All of her videos have beautiful floral and like thyme and wheat in them. So I'm going to use this inner piece I created a couple of videos ago and recycle it. So I just took some of these blocks from Dollar Tree, 3 to a pack, and I also took this Dollar Tree wall shelf and removed the jute. I am then going to place 3 rows of 2 of these little dice or blocks on the bottom of my shelf by just gluing them down where I want. I am then going to flip my shelf over, and I am going to place 3 more of these little dice on top with hot glue. Now again, I showed you what it looked like before, and we're recycling it. So I'm just showing you how I made the base of this, and then I'll show you what I did to make it the way it is now. So I'm painting this entire thing with my Waverly Plaster chalk paints, top, bottom, and sides, and then I'm just using some foam mounting squares from Dollar Tree to add my pumpkins to these little on the top. Okay, so at this point, coming right up, right here. I am adding the foam squares for the original arrangements, but I'm not going to be using them for this remake, so I did peel those off. So I'm going to let you know that the remake is starting right now. It's starting by me adding some floral foam where I did have those little sticky pieces, and now I'm taking some of these wheat picks from Dollar Tree. No, they are not from Dollar Tree. Oh my goodness, they're from Walmart, but they're about the same price as Dollar Tree. And this beautiful thyme from Walmart as well. It just reminded me of Jen from Mother Thyme. All of her arrangements are so beautiful and they have so much greenery. And I mean, her name is Mother Thyme, so I thought it was perfect. So I'm just going to be picking this thyme in the sides, and then the other sides, the longer side where my floral foam is, and then I'll also be picking some sticking out of the top. So I picked in the shorter sides, now I'm picking in the longer sides, and I did use the tips of my scissors to create little holes, and I'm going to be adding tiny dabs of glue on the bottom of my thyme pieces and shoving them into those little holes. Then I'm going to be taking larger bunches of thyme and adding them down in between my pumpkins where there is no floral foam. I used 7 bunches of this thyme, and again, it was just over $1 at Walmart. And here's what it looks like. Now I'm going to be picking in the smaller pieces to the top of the floral foam. I don't want to completely hide my pumpkins, but I do kind of want them peeking out from all of this beautiful greenery and these wheat picks that we are about to add. So here is what it looks like so far. I used 7 of the thyme picks again, I'm showing you. And now here we are going to use this beautiful wheat pick. It's actually called a heather pick, and we use 5 of those. I'm just picking off each piece and strategically placing it along the sides, and also a couple between each pumpkin. I would recommend probably using 6 picks, as I did have to get a little sparse in the back, but this is just going to be facing outward, so I think 6 would be perfect. Now I'm just going to go in with some of this floral and a little bit of hot glue, tucking this in any bare spots, and to just add a little bit of interest and dimension to my centerpiece. I think it is so beautiful. Please let me know what you think. I just absolutely love this combination together, and I think it's so pretty. And please also check out Jen if you haven't. She is simply amazing, and I love her style. Let me know what you think about the remake of this project. Next, we have a plaque sign. So much fun creating this. So I grabbed up a wood piece from the Dollar Tree Plus section for $3, but you could also just use any piece that you have in your stash. I didn't like the first stain color that I used, so I used a darker min wax and went over it. Then I taped off the edges so I could paint the frame with Waverly plaster. Once that was done, I took 3 of these wood planks from Dollar Tree. Now you can see they were stained in a previous project, but I just went ahead and painted over them with 2 coats of Waverly plaster. But they do come in a light unfinished color, and they come in several different shapes actually. You could even do kind of a rectangular one if you wanted to. So I went ahead and glued 2 of them down, and then I took the 3rd one and placed it kind of on top in the center, and then I added a little stem that I had in my stash from Dollar Tree, and I began embellishing with some maple leaves and just some florals that I had in my stash. I cut them all down, so I was putting on 1 piece at a time and just kind of adding how I liked it, trying to keep a nice balance on either side of my pumpkin. Now again, these florals, I have some from Dollar Tree, some are from just my stash. So just dig into your stash, see what you can find that you think would be pretty. I just kind of mixed matched and used all these tiny little scraps. Again, trying to keep it kind of even. And then I had some of this little pitberry garland from Dollar Tree. I just curled it around my finger and placed that on the stem so that it went up either side. I took some pieces of ribbon and just kind of created an X formation with them so that I can make a scrappy bow. So I had some of this beautiful check ribbon and also some orange ribbon from Dollar Tree. I pinched my bow in the middle and I tied it tightly with a piece of twine. I like to flip it around a couple of times and knot it on either side to make sure that the middle of that bow is really tight, because the tighter the middle is, the more you can fluff your bow. So once you get your bow how you like it, I use some hot glue to place it between my stem and my pumpkin there. There was a little gap, and that was okay because this bow fills in perfectly. Then I took some antique wax on a small brush and I went around the ridges of my little pumpkin plaques, and then I kind of muted that and wiped it in a little bit with a baby wipe. I also went down the center of the plaques as well, and then I decided to go ahead and do my frame as well with the distressing. I put another little flower in the middle of my bow, and then I decided to add a couple of leaves to either side of the bottom of this pumpkin to kind of tie everything together. I added a couple little berries and florals as well, and here's what this looks like for just a few dollars. I feel like this is a very high-end, beautiful statement piece that you can set on a shelf, or you could just put a little hanger on the back and hang it on your wall. Here is another idea for a beautiful centerpiece, and we're going to use the base 3 ways today. So this is a really useful piece. So I took 3 crates from Dollar Tree. I removed the stickers from the bottom. Now these crates have little slats on the sides, but you could get solid ones as well. I am going to place them into groups of 2 and place them together. I'm going to use hot glue to attach all of these, but you could use wood glue or anything that you like. Once I get them all glued together, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to use these. I was kind of inspired. My friend Jenny, I mentioned her a lot, but she's absolutely amazing over at Lovely Moments Creating. She had done a video where she used these boxes in several different ways. So here's another one of my ideas. I just took this wood stain and I stained this entire creation, top, bottom, and sides. And then I grabbed this bunch of leaves from Walmart, just over $3, and they are beautiful. They have a little bit of glitter to them, and I took off several bunches. I also took 4 more of these $1.14 picks from Walmart. I'm going to place 1 in each box and 1 in the middle. Yes, I used 5. And then I'm just going to fill in the gaps with those leaves. I'm going to put bunches of 2 leaves in so I can spread them out, and I'm just tucking them around. No floral foam, no glue. As long as this is not going to be bumped, it will stay nicely in place, and it's an adorable little centerpiece that you can reuse all of the pieces later in the season or next season. I just love these colors and how everything comes together, and I love the fact that you can remove everything out of the box and use it another way, which is our next idea. Why don't we turn the back of this box into a pumpkin? It matches one of the other little pumpkins I had made in a previous video, which I will link below, and with that we can flip it around and make a shelf out of it. So here is a couple more ideas that are so fun. So let's get started. We already have it together. We already have it stained. So let's go ahead and take a little wood piece that we have from Dollar Tree in our stash. We're also going to create a bow, and I'm sorry I am messing up some of my words today. It has been a Monday-ish Thursday, and it's rainy here, and so I guess I'm kind of tired. But anyway, I'm going to take this beautiful mesh ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm going to create a bow by looping it over 3 times on either side. And I'm going to do this with this beautiful cinnamon color and also that kind of wheatish color. I'm going to stack them on top of each other. And I'm going to take a piece of twine and tie that tightly around the middle so that I can go ahead and fluff out the sides of my bow. The tighter that you tie this twine, the better you can fluff your bow out to have a nice, beautiful, and fluffy bow. And I do go around the middle a few times with that twine to make sure that it is nice and tight. Then I cut off any excess, and I'm going to take this and attach it to the top of those boxes, standing them upright. Now here, for video purposes, you'll see it laying down sometimes so I can get everything in the shot. but I'm going to stand it up. I'm going to attach this bow to the middle, and then on one side, the side that is going to be our pumpkin, I am going to wedge that little wood stem or wood piece right in the middle of my bow so that you can see it from the pumpkin side and not from the other side. When you flip this around, all you will see is the bow on the shelf side. So here is what that looks like on both sides. And now to the pumpkin side, I'm going to take some more of those beautiful leaves we've been using from that very same pick from Walmart. Groups of 2. I'm going to glue a couple down on either side, and I'm also going to glue a couple down in the front underneath that beautiful wood stem and right on top of the top of our pumpkin. And then I'm going to create a little twine bow by looping the twine around my hand multiple times and then taking an extra piece of twine and tying that right in the middle of this bow. I am then going to hot glue this bow right in the middle of our larger bow on our pumpkin side, and I found an adorable teeny tiny little wood button that I am going to glue to the middle of this in my stash, and I think this makes it look so cute. I'm going to go ahead and attach that, and my pumpkin side is complete. I think it is absolutely adorable. Now we're going to go ahead and add some raffia. So I guess my pumpkin side wasn't quite complete. I misspoke because we are adding raffia, but we're going to be doing that all around both sides. So I'm just taking some raffia, folding it over and kind of bunching it at the top, twisting slightly so I can glue that down underneath the leaves on the pumpkin side. And I'm also going to do it to both sides of this creation, and I'm going to do it to the shelf side as well, just here and there wherever I think it looks nice. So here's a look at the pumpkin side, and again with that little wooden pumpkin I had made in a previous DIY. It looks so nice with this. Again, I will have the video where I made that little grateful pumpkin linked below in my description box, but here's a good look for you at that. And now I'm going to show you again the shelf side that I'm going to be creating by just adding some of these cute little decorations in. You can add whatever you like. I just added a little squirrel, a little pumpkin mug, a little stalk of corn, and a pumpkin, but anything you have that is small and miniature will look adorable in there. So easy, and I really hope that you like that idea. And moving right along into our next wood idea, this gorgeous welcome sign that you can put on a porch or an entryway. So I grabbed 2 of these smaller signs from Dollar Tree, but there's several you could use. I liked these because they were the perfect width for these wood planks, which are also from Dollar Tree. They come in 2 different packages here, and they are 6 for $1.25. Then I had some large craft sticks from Walmart that I had stained from a previous project, so that worked perfectly. I went ahead and prepared my signs by taking off the wreath and the hangers. Then I flipped them graphic side up and glued them together with a craft stick that I had already shown. Make this one long piece. I painted my one long piece with Waverly plaster. Then I took agave and pumpkin. I painted 3 of my 7 squares with agave, 2 with pumpkin, and 2 with Waverly plaster. I placed them out on my long sign the way that I wanted them, and then glued them down one by one. I like to glue the middle pieces down just to make sure that I have my spacing correct. And then once all of my pieces are glued down, I just chopped up some of those craft sticks that I had stained in a previous project, but I believe they were stained with Waverly Antique Wax. I just chopped them up into various kind of sizes, and I didn't make them perfect, but I glued them to the top of each square there on that tiny little lip to form our pumpkin stem. I then tied 7 tiny little string bows with some jute twine and glued it down on each pumpkin right underneath that stem. Then I took these poster board letters from Dollar Tree and I spelled out welcome. I just kind of placed all my letters to make sure they were right before I pushed them down, and then I Mod Podged over the whole thing, and here is my welcome sign. It's very customizable to your colors, and I hope that you like this idea as much as I do. Our next DIY is inspired by Courtney over at Creative on the Cheap. Here is what hers looks like, and here is what mine looks like. What they both have in common is they're both very large, and they're both using trays from the Dollar Tree. I chose these clear trays from the party section. They kind of dip down a little bit. They're not flat. They have a ridge on them, and they have a nice design. And I decided to spray paint these both front and back. I gave them 2 coats with this crayon spray paint, but any spray paint that you like and any color you like. And once they were dry, I placed 2 of them side by side, and they are upside down. Now I have these wood planks from Dollar Tree, but if you can't find them, Hobby Lobby probably carries them, but what I meant to say was Walmart carries the same planks as well. I'm going to take 2 of them, apply generous amounts of hot glue, and then flip them over. This is going to support our 2 plates together and form a sturdy base. Then I'm going to take the 3rd one, and I'm going to flip it the other way so it is the right side up, and I am going to place a couple of Jenga blocks on the inside. The reason I'm doing this is so when I flip it back over to the design side, my hot glue has something to attach this to the other pieces of this pumpkin. So hopefully that makes sense. I just glued 3 Jenga blocks to either side, added hot glue to those, flipped this over, and held it down until it dried. Now this is nice and sturdy. I didn't have a large enough stick, so I took a couple of stems from the Dollar Tree and glued them together. I glued that to the back, which is that middle piece of the pumpkin. It didn't stay very well, so I did add another Jenga block and some hot glue to add some more stabilization to that. Now here is some beautiful Dollar Tree fall ribbon, and I'm going to create a bow. I'm going to create a very large bow with 2 loops on either side by just folding it over like so, pinching it in the middle, and then cutting off that long piece. And I'm going to add that to the middle to be my tail. I tie everything together. I hot glue it down over top of that stem there. I'm going to take my tails and I'm going to fold them and cut a triangle upwards so I have a nice boutique finish. First, I decided to add a pretty floral to this, so that's what you're going to see. Then I decided my stem wasn't long enough, so I added a 3rd piece from Dollar Tree, so I have 3 of those little wood pieces. Then I decided that I'd rather have a pumpkin than a floral. So here are some options for you. You could put a floral, you could put a pumpkin, put whatever you like. Now I decided to distress mine, and I just had this brown paint from Dollar Tree on hand. I put a little bit of it on a brush and just lightly went over my pumpkin. I wanted to make those designs kind of pop out, but of course this is optional, and you also could have used a lighter color to pop those designs out. So whatever you like. This was so quick, easy, and inexpensive to make. So thank you to Courtney for this inspiration. Okay, and this next one was inspired by Caitlin over at Crafts by Caitlin. Hers is in the lower right corner and mine is in the middle. So let's begin. You will need several leaf bunches from Dollar Tree. I have several of these beautiful leaf bunches. I had never seen these particular ones before, and they came in 2 colors. I thought they were so pretty. I have a long barbecue skewer and several short ones. And I also have some jute wire. So now I am going to wrap my several short skewers around my long skewer, kind of in the middle there for the main part of my stem. And I'm wrapping this wired twine around the middle. Now you could just use any sort of stick or even a toilet plunger from Dollar Tree, but I didn't have those things, so I'm improvising, and I actually love the way it came out. So now I'm going to break my longer skewer, and I'm just going to attach the leaves to that long skewer there to kind of make up the bare space where the shorter skewers are not. So I'm going to arrange my leaf bunches how I like them, some going toward either side, some on the front, some on the back, and then I'm going to use the remainder of that wired twine to connect these leaf stems to my trunk, just wrapping it around tightly down to where my main trunk is, where that jute already is. Now, I was just playing around. You can see how I had stained that trunk with Waverly Antique Wax. It doesn't even matter since I do end up covering that up, but I'm just going to connect everything tightly and it'll all be covered up in one spot. But honestly, the wire jute really does kind of leave a nice dimension and texture under what we are going to do because tree trunks are not smooth. So I just glue some random leaves from that 7th pick toward the bottom as I like them, and then I'm going to be covering my entire trunk here with this remaining twine from a little bundle that I had. I'm going to glue it down on the top and then just wrap all the way down the trunk. I do leave about 1/2 inch of dowel rod sticking out so that I can stab that down into my floral foam that I glued in my container. I stuffed some extra trash bags around my trunk and then just added some brown paper bags, and here's what it looks like. I think it is so cute and I hope that you like it too. Once again, thank you so much for stopping by today. I truly appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this compilation video and got some ideas. Take care, friend. I will see you soon.
You can subscribe to my mom's channel, and thank you for watching today's craft and stay safe.